Back of the Bus podcast coming to you with another Black Panther review. We've got issue number 5, The Long Shadow. Oh shit, man! Bring in my boy Theo B. I ain't saying, I'm just saying. I don't know what I was thinking. How I just come in cold like that one, but they should know by now. It's either you or D Real for sure.
It's either one or the other. It's either one or the other.
Yeah. No, it's y'all the regulars, man. Y'all the regulars. We do open up with old lady on trial for treason. I don't know how we got to this point so quickly, but we're here, right? She's on trial. She starts out very good. Professes her innocence, and then almost immediately says the dumbest thing you could ever say when you on trial for treason. I should have murdered the king.
When I had the chance.
Hey man, what?
When I had a chance. It's like she was just being curt the whole time. Like, I'm on trial. Yeah, I told some lies, and like,
right.
She's being truthful, but she's not, for somebody who's on trial for what she's on trial for, she's not helping her cause at all. It's like,
hey, you know what else? I'm looking at this, right? We're supposed to be bringing in democracy. Where the hell is her lawyer? Where's her representation? Like, what is this? What kind of democracy is this?
Listen, she went from being accused to being guilty in a matter of no time at all, with no legal representation.
Remanded in custody, no legal representation. There's no burden of proof here. It's just like, nope, lock her up till we figure it out.
If this is Wakandan law, I don't want no parts of this, right?
Hey, man, what? This that America light. This that America, that diet America they trying out over here. This ain't. I don't know what's going on over here. But yeah, man, just a very, very awkward exchange with someone who's trying to profess their innocence. Folasad quickly moves on to T'Challa, though, in his sleeper cell agent program. He kind of brushes her off and dismisses her. The interesting thing that I took away from this scene, though, in these 6 panels, is the conversation between Akili and T'Challa, because he seems to be playing both sides of this friction with Folasad and T'Challa. Right? He sits down with Folasad and says, "Hey, I'm here for Wakanda, man. I'm here for the country." And then he over here talking to T'Challa, and he's like, "Oh well, hey man, you Wakanda. So where you go, I go."
He kind of alluded to when he said, "I defend Wakanda. T'Challa is Wakanda." So I'm like, he ain't the only Wakanda that's in Wakanda. So I don't. Okay, anybody could take that in 85 different directions if you that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll say I believed him a lot more when he was telling Folasad, like, yeah, no, I'm down for Wakanda. So whoever running Wakanda, me and the Ta-Nehisi is there. More than, hey, yeah, no, Mom, I'm 100% behind you, King. Whatever you say, I'm down with you. Like, no, that ain't even your makeup. That's not even the role of your position. So you basically telling me that you're not advising me in the way that I need to be as the leader of the Ta-Nehisi. You can't be announced to the whims of my emotions or whatever I feel is right with the war force, with basically the army. Very sketchy, but we'll move on.
Which is when you look at Wakandan lore, it's kind of like, okay, hold on. There's only one military outfit in Wakanda that's loyal to the king. I know we didn't get it like that in the movie, but it's only one military outfit in Wakanda. It's more than one, but ain't one loyal to the king.
The king, right? That's Omolola. Which are not there. Which is right. That's a note that is not there at this time. There's no Omolola, so
they're right. Achilles, the war dogs are loyal to Wakanda.
Mm-hmm.
And watch this. You ready? And since Hunter's not there, that would have been the person that would have bended the knee to T'Challa. But since we're gonna keep. Never mind. Let's go.
Yeah. No, you right. Shuri goes to visit old lady in her prison cell. They have a quick exchange here, but I really don't even want to get too far into it because this is trash. This dialogue, this back and forth between and I don't mean contextually, I mean, literally the words that they're saying to each other is bad. Really, we've touched on it. We poked and prodded a little bit with the dialogue. I think he's having trouble mimicking both regal and royal type of speak, and then also the people who speak and act around them, how they talk.
I love the part where the guard made a statement, and he put it in there where Shuri makes a statement under her breath about the guard. Mm-hmm. But then you look at, like you said, the back and forth between Shuri and Omolola. I'm like this. First and foremost, this ain't Shuri. Her and T'Challa arriving to this conclusion so fast goes against who they are intellectually. That's not what they do.
It's like there's no thinkers left in Wakanda all of a sudden. Right, nobody's thinking.
If we're going to stop the presses, and I don't want to do this part because it's going to be like, come on, Theo. No, this dude is the closest thing Marvel has to Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
A detective? Mm-hmm. He's the closest thing Marvel has to the Dark Knight detective when it comes to solving cases. They're not just gonna arbitrarily just arrive at a conclusion like this, and then as the story unfolds, because we'll see as the story unfolds, it just wouldn't happen like this. But
yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I think even you're talking more narratively. I'm saying, like, would I do all of this because I'm really just a big fat sack of girl stuff? Where are you from?
Right.
where are you from?
I had to read that twice. I was like
I get it. I'm trying to be sarcastic and like trying to show how laughable. I also think it's funny. It's very ironic that he's mocking the synapses that he set up. Right? Like, you wrote it like that. That's you. That's not the character's name. That's you. And you're mocking it within one of your characters, but still doing it in a very weird way in terms of how she's speaking.
Like, if she said, am I just supposed to be the stereotypical black woman that needs a black man to lead? And he said something like that. I'm with you with the big sack, because I was like,
yeah, big sack of girl. What? Huh? Where you from? Where you Wakandan, right? And that's in Africa? I'm confused.
That's how they talk over there? Girl stuff.
Hey, like, come on, really. Like that is it feels almost basic, because when you see good writers, it almost comes off as second nature for them to flip the dialect or flip the language somehow to make it fit the setting.
Right.
This is sitting out like a sore thumb. So it really goes to show you how, like, those little details from writers that you constantly hear heralded, the Hewings, the Hickmans, the Cates, the Aarons, those guys, the priest. When you talking about those guys, they have the details down packed, which allows them to worry about other things narratively. That's why they're able to write such grand stories. Because this seems like maybe we need to take some of this back. Maybe try another writer.
As we go along with the story, to me, this is starting to mirror to a degree the early stories we were getting from Ta-Nehisi Coates. Here we go with Wakanda being under
siege. Yeah.
Rest again. It's like, how many now they can sit, now it can be like, okay, this ain't on me because I ain't the king. Y'all did this while I wasn't on the throne. But it's like, okay, so how much of this are you going to keep giving us? Like, when does Wakanda get to be that nation that's supposed to be superior to every other nation?
Right.
And how they do things. So
yeah. So let's touch on that a little bit, because I had some thoughts. If we look at it, the best Black Panther writer that we could say, right? Who's the best Black Panther writer, period? Probably Priest, right?
Right.
Okay. Since then, you've had Hudlin, you've had, really, in terms of Black writers, you've had Coates. I wonder, since Priest's run, how much narrative birth these creators are getting when they take these titles on, because I look at what Hickman did with Black Panther, I look at what Al Ewing did with Black Panther, and you're talking about such a grand scope,
right,
that they were writing on. It wasn't civil unrest. It's ultimates. It's galactic power. And the one thing that I can take from Coates' run is that he did put Wakanda on a intergalactic scale. How that hasn't been the jumping off part from this first arc here with Ridley makes me think that there was a concerted effort to change the direction, because how do you not piggyback off of that? That would be like Hickman leaving the X-Men on Krakoa, and then all of a sudden we only telling X-Men Mansion stories, the school stories.
It's one of those things, because they did allude to it when as we go further along in the story, where they talk about he has the secret empire and everything like that. It's not a secret, y'all.
It's not secret.
Big ass ceremony.
Sorry, I fell through a wormhole to another universe and got enslaved and had to break out and make it all the way back to Wakanda. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's one of the things where it's like, something I said on one of the videos is that our westernized perception, our eyes in which we're viewing Wakanda. And so we as writers, we write it like that. And it falls too much into the scope of what we got with Black Light, where the story always deals with some inner conflict. First and foremost, to the reader, T'Challa is a king who's a superhero, or a superhero who's a king. First and foremost, you got to tell the superhero story. It can't always be about some personal inner conflict surrounding his throne, a la with Black Lightning, Jefferson Pierce. It's always some inner conflict surrounding his neighborhood. No, he's a superhero. He gotta go do some superhero stuff.
I saw T'Challa Black Panther show up in Jed McKay's Moon Knight in some of the early issues. So why is it that Jed McKay can find a way to use Black Panther? It was very discreet. He was on the end of one issue. He was talking to, some people around Moon Knight, Mark, at the time, trying to figure out if he was getting ready to lose. It was very light, but he was there, right? He was doing superhero stuff. He wasn't running away from his own Congress.
Right. Watch
this. He wasn't fighting his own police.
If all the fans are rocking with his Black Panther, we don't even know T'Challa is running the Avengers right now.
Yeah.
Out of Celestial Mountain. Like, forget what you heard. The Avengers, unlike the Justice League, have never made it off planet to have a base off planet. Them having a headquarters in the remains of a dead Celestial is
nuts. It's nuts.
And the dude that's running the team that Captain America is taking the knee to is T'Challa. So other writers can envision him being a leader of a superhero team, doing superheroic things that are not centered in and of itself around Wakanda, while he goes out and represents Wakanda.
The only thing I'm gonna push back on is because that seems like your suggestion was that it's the Western perspective that draws that out of some of the writers like Coates or Ridley. But wouldn't that apply to a guy like Ewing or Hickman as well? They white boys of America. So how would they not?
T'Challa's still that dude. Like, regardless, people don't realize it because of they haven't experienced enough of it. Marvel knows this dude is a money-making machine.
Mm-hmm.
He soloed his own movie. They not stupid.
Yeah.
They put emphasis behind repackaging his comic book once his movie got out there.
Yeah.
He's got, I don't know how many action figures. I mean, like, as a black action figures, he's got more action figures than every other black action figure out there.
Mm-hmm.
So they realize the significance of it. So we put him in a team concept. We can't dumb him down. We got to prop him up. Well, how do you prop him up any further than Captain America is taking orders from T'Challa?
Yeah, yeah.
But this is where the casual fan ain't looking at that comic book, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Just saying, they ain't looking at that. That's the nerds, the geeks. We like, where you can sit here and look at the comic book like, well, damn, why is he struggling over here?
Yeah.
The audience ain't knowing. You didn't read this comic book over here to know that there's a difference. Like, why is he like this over here? But over here, I gotta get with him and Shuri jumping to conclusions.
Yeah. I think it's a combination. I think narratively they have to be limited because we didn't even get to the whole, the overlapping multi-galactic empire of Wakanda until the end of Coates, right? The end of his second run. So I feel like they have to be hampered in some way because of the initial direction that the books take. Like even the first arc of all of these creators, from Priest all the way up to Ridley, the initial starting point is very definitive in what is allowed. Yes. But within that though, if you are of the ilk of the Ridleys and the Coates, and you are dealing with a limited scope in which you can operate with, it's incumbent on you to solidify the things that make T'Challa. His intelligence, right? Pragmatism. The thing you said he's the Marvel version of Bruce Wayne, but you would never know that from the last 2 runs of Black Panther. You wouldn't get that. Even when
Omolola told him, when they battled last year, you ain't that good.
Man, what? Like the fact that she was even able to say those words to T'Challa, like physically, like she was able to move her jaw to say those words.
Wait. If he's that dude, she not uttering them words.
Man.
I mean, like, honestly, if she uttering them words, if he's that dude, she really trying to escape. No, she felt like, she spoke like, nah. Even at the trial, I should have killed him when I had a chance.
I want you to read these next several notes that I have for the book, right? This is the meat of the comic now, right? So, old lady plants a seed of doubt in Shuri's mind. Shuri goes off to investigate further, right? She meets back up with T'Challa and explains that someone has been sending secret messages from inside of Wakanda directing the assassins. All right? Seems to catch T'Challa off guard. Then Shuri comes to the conclusion that there is one person in Wakanda that would benefit the most from all of this chaos, right? Because martial law can be enacted in times like this, right? And she points out Akili. And then Shuri brings those accusations to fall aside in session. Where in that is T'Challa doing anything? Is he doing a single thing except for sitting back and getting told information like an oaf, like a bozo? So not one of them things T'Challa could have thought of. Not one of them. Not a single one of them. He couldn't come up with the fact that somebody was sending messages out of Wakanda. He couldn't come up with the fact that Akili had the most to gain. He couldn't even take the accusations to pull aside himself.
It's one of them things where it's like, it frustrates people when I say, I get it, I understand. You can get something and understand something and still disagree with it. I get slavery. I understand it. Cheap labor. Who don't get that? Who don't understand that? Don't mean I agree with it, but I understand it. So I get it. You're wanting to give Shuri her moment to shine. I get it. But the brother-sister dynamic of these two, this isn't Pietro, this isn't Wanda. These are two highly intelligent people, two highly athletic people. She's better than this. Her and T'Challa jumping to conclusions. This scene should have come into all these conclusions. Should have been her and T'Challa talking. Should have been her and T'Challa figuring out the next. Instead
of Shuri dictating a narrative, instead of providing evidence to what it is she's accusing. She has absolutely no evidence except for a theory that she takes to court.
Listen, we didn't got more detective work between, watch this, Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon than we didn't have. Yeah, I said it. We didn't got more detective work between Bruce Wayne and Barbara Gordon than we've got in an espionage. And this is the way this series was built. This is a spy and espionage series. Okay, well, I ain't really seeing the spy work, the espionage. I'm seeing it from the bad guys. I ain't really seeing it.
Seeing it from from T'Challa for sure.
From.
Yeah. Shuri brings accusations to Folasad. She does point out that Akili would have the most to gain by declaring martial law, because then he would essentially have control of Wakanda and the fighting force in Wakanda, which is the Hatu Zaraze. Akili parries that accusation pretty quickly and then recenters the focus on T'Challa, kind of calling back to an earlier conversation that T'Challa and Shuri had, I believe, in issue 2 about T'Challa benefiting from the chaos or the fall of democracy in Wakanda, kind of following up on that theory. This quickly devolves into everybody pointing the finger at everyone. So I'm still left in a little bit of limbo on whether or not Akili is a snake, or if it's Folasad or what have you. By the end of the book, I'll know exactly who the hell I'm pointing at. But Akili does mention something called kill switch in their exchange, right? That T'Challa immediately wants to get off the topic of, because clearly that's something that ain't supposed to be left out. And man, didn't 10 minutes ago you told me I was Wakanda? What happened?
Right. Like,
what happened, bro? I thought I was Wakanda, bro. What happened?
Listen, Akili, like, bro, it ain't finna be me. It ain't. If it's me and you, if it's me and you, it ain't finna be me, man.
Man, listen, he got off of that T'Challa, you Wakanda shit so fast.
Hey.
So quick. He like, oh yeah, what about kill switch?
Yeah.
What about kill switch?
I mean this real talk. This is what we doing. Whoa. See, I ain't telling nobody about what you had going on, but since we talking about it,
right.
About you.
Does that ring a bell at all? Does that call back to any past arcs that were missing? Any old comics? Does the name Kill Switch ring a bell?
Basically, the way this whole storyline is going, Kill Switch would be something where you would have basically every leader in a country taken out.
But I mean, he got the sleeper cell, so
yeah, if that's how you feeling. Everybody is close to everybody. You got a lot of presidents, dictators, kings, queens, foreign dignitaries taking dirt naps, and you only got one real leader left in place, and that would be the king of Wakanda.
I can see that.
Or whoever's running Wakanda. Wakanda has the strongest military.
Yeah.
Let's think about this for a second.
What we talking about in terms of nation? Well, I mean,
let's think about this for a second.
I was about to say mutants got a whole planet, so it's kind of rough.
Right. Well, yeah, they got a whole planet. But let's think about this for a second. I'm talking about military might. We ain't talking about just me and you just suiting up, booting up. We talking about we got to go get it.
But I mean, go ahead, finish. Go ahead.
In the real world, the largest air force is America's military.
Okay.
The second largest air force is the Air Force. Yeah. That look right there is priceless.
Okay.
You wait. Say that one more time. Yeah. America has the largest military Air Force might.
Right.
The Air Force has the second largest.
So you're just saying the military in general, with all the air personnel, aircrafts and all that stuff in general is the largest, but specifically the Air Force part of the military is the second.
Right. Now watch this. The fourth, I think, is like the Navy. Because
they got the battleships.
No, just the number of planes, jets to deploy
is the Navy.
The Navy is the fourth. Now that's real world. So we gonna sit up here and say Wakanda outnumbers all that. If you can exact the kill switch and everything like that, you got dominance over everything.
Yeah.
You got vibranium too? Oh man, come on.
Yeah. If I had to guess, just to throw something out there real quick, I think it has something to do with the mutants, just because everything that you said runs into direct conflict with what the mutants got going on, trying to solidify the solar system. So, and especially since, Ridley has shown such a concerted effort to bring Storm into this arc, which I appreciate. That makes me believe that that's going to come to a head at some point. I think I was talking to somebody on Twitter, and I told him one of the biggest disappointments about, not having the intergalactic empire at the forefront in this story so far is that there's the conflict that you want to see within Wakanda, you could be having on a larger scale with other titles that are blazing right now that are selling. You could be tying yourself to the mutants and Araco and everything else, but you so busy trying to have Civil War Part 8 in Wakanda.
And that's my point that I was getting to earlier when it comes to the direction of the Black character-led comic. He's got to graduate past this. Because we got the intergalactic storyline, which included a great deal of many superheroes, but as you alluded to, he could be doing something on a grander scale that would cause massive crossovers with, like you said, some titles that are banging right now. Like, and that's the whole thing. We got to get to the point where we start graduating these, because if this is Captain America, he done did this already. Spider-Man, we did it. Spider-Man do something into the Spider-Verse, he done crossed over with I don't know how many different characters. We got to get to the point where this is something where with Black characters that are solo characters, they are a part of the larger universe and not just stuck in their own proverbial
in their own world. I agree. All right, let's get moving here a little bit. So Fuller said, after hearing everything everybody said, we have a quick Tosin cameo. I think that's all that we've gotten out of Tosin since the 200 issue.
Right.
Jesus Christ. But she takes command of the Ha-Tu-Zaraze away from Achilles. She takes the Black Panther suit away from T'Challa and remands T'Challa into custody. Now, that ain't gonna last long. I knew that as soon as I seen him walking out and he gave that little look to Shuri. He does escape. The officers escorting him or whatever, steals the speeder. I want more of this. You know, this guy without the suit, without the supernatural powers, is able to out-muscle, it looks like, 4 ground soldiers and 1 on a flying bike. Right? Listen, but can't put hands on a Omolola for nothing.
Listen,
you know?
Let me say shout out to you, Josh, the quote you had on Twitter.
Hey, we
talking about
coming up.
Listen, the suit is, because I'm looking at him like, oh wow, we just gonna take we just gonna take it off it. Okay, never mind. I was like, but for sure he redeemed himself and said, the Black Panther suit is just a suit. That's just and I'm paraphrasing.
Just a suit. Just a suit. Just a suit.
My brother?
I got another head scratcher here. In the midst of all of this, Folasad gives control of the Ha-Tu-Zaraze right back to Achilles. What's happening? What's going on? No, you just took it away from him pending an investigation. So since one of the people being investigated runs off, he's innocent? What is this? What is this? Now I will say with Achilles, how quick he is to, hey, go get T'Challa, shooting down whenever you see him. Use any force necessary. Yeah, no, he's the one. That's him. I don't think he's the only one. But he's the one sending the messages to them assassins for sure. But the morals of all of this is that nobody's thinking in Wakanda. Everybody got their brain on pause. Everybody.
Because I'm looking at like, okay, I don't think Achilles smart enough to pull this whole thing off. When you ask me about like who I saw having Doom War flashback. Because somebody was being manipulated back then. Watch this. Yeah. I can go back to Ta-Nehisi Coates run. Somebody was being manipulated back then. It's always Queen Ramonda been manipulated at one point in time. So I'm looking at a kid like, you got the resources, but you ain't got the brain power to pull this off. Like,
but he's been so sneaky and he's been so back and forth. Oh, I'm on your side. Oh no, it was T'Challa. Oh, okay, I'll sit here and wait for this investigation. Oh, he ran cool. Let's kill him. You know what I mean? He's been so back and forth. It feels like he hides something.
I feel like that's the writing style, because I'm like, as the writer, you moved so fast. You didn't give me any development between Shuri and T'Challa. Then when it came to Achilles, you didn't give me anything. We just gonna move from here to here, and that's where we at.
Yeah.
Like, you know these characters don't move like this.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, if I'm gonna assume like this, because Achilles been written before, and we've never gotten
treachery.
Right, we ain't got that
betrayal.
So this would be something like, if this was your long plan, this was your long plan. But even still with that, and I want to say before I forget, it's very uncharacteristic for T'Challa and Shuri to do what they did, because they basically told the guilty people, we know you guilty. So what would they do? What's a guilty person gonna know when you tell them I know what you did?
And then again, you did it without anything to corroborate it.
Yeah,
You didn't bring any evidence other than your thought.
I'm thinking still a long. I'm thinking we're still in the long game. I'm thinking, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, hell, man, this is issue 5, a full arc, a trade paperback of 6 issues. So when we gonna get to it? So Shuri helps T'Challa get out of the perimeter that Achilles sets with the shields. She then makes her way over to the prison cell where old lady's being held. Makes quick work of the guard with her griot powers. Dope scene there, dope couple panels. She frees Omolola. She comes up on Achilles and some Hatu Zeraze. Makes light work of them.
She just released a flock of crows,
right?
Ravens. Them going to her wrist gauntlets, her blasters. I'm not necessarily a fan of that because 1, she can still turn into stone. 2, she's still super strong. 3, she can grow to the size of a giant. Relying on this, the Wakandan technology, I'm like, I don't really necessarily like that when you know she's got other abilities she can use to dispose of the Hatu Zeraze.
Maybe she's not trying to go nuclear. Maybe she's trying to use the least lethal option. Like she used her griot powers on the guard, but she didn't really hurt him.
Right, and give me that because it's too many readers don't know her other abilities. So don't just keep showing me the flock of the ravens or her turning into a giant raven. Expand on those other abilities. Give me that because we know she's got the wrist gauntlets. We've seen a whole movie.
I see what you're saying. Yep. I agree. We can definitely expand the power set and show just what them griot powers hitting for sure. Oh, and Shuri, after the light blast, get to work on the Hatu. They make their way out onto some cruisers and start heading outside of the city. Now the Hatu Zeraze do end up finding the crashed cruiser that T'Challa stole. And then T'Challa gets to drop on them shirtless for some reason. But
that's the scene for the ladies right there. That's the scene for the ladies.
I'm like, when did my man's lose his shirt? When did that happen? When I didn't see that part. I didn't see him take his shirt off.
You know, that's always the scene. It be in the movie. So this time around, instead of being in the movie,
Fam lost his shoes. When did he get half naked? When did this happen?
You know, we got female fans. We got to give them something to look at, man. Don't do that.
Oh my God.
The brother got to flex. You know, every superhero got to flex in their story at least one time. That's him flex.
I want to send this out on this last quote from Shuri during the exchange with O as they're escaping. O says, "Oh, well, they took the suit away from T'Challa. He's just T'Challa now. He's going to get caught, essentially, right?" Shuri hips O to game because she has to be hipped. I don't know why. She's been working with T'Challa all this time. But hey, I digress. Let me tell you something about my brother. Black Panther is an icon, a legacy, and a legend. By the end of the day, at the end of the day, the Black Panther uniform is just some slick gear. With or without it, T'Challa has never just been anything. Mr. Ridley, be about it. Be about it. Put it in the book, bro. If that's how you feel, show us that. Please.
Unapologetically, like
come on.
He redeemed himself with that quote. He did, because when he gave up the bracelet, I was like, oh, this really what we doing? Yeah. But now this quote, like you said, you didn't say it.
Now be about it.
I'm saying you got to be about this now.
Come on, man.
So yeah.
All right, man. Any final thoughts on the book before we close out?
Man, great episode. It was a great book and everything like that. Like I said, I'm just not at the point where I think it's Achilles. Achilles has never been presented as a character that had that type of mentality. I mean, you can see when Gambit made his turn, it ain't like we didn't think Gambit was capable of doing something like that. So it's like, okay, to me, this would be a character turn that you just pulled out of left field because nobody saw this one coming. So, you know, that's just my thought. But other than that, it's just great writing, as you alluded to. There's some things as far as writings that go back and forth, as far as like dialogue. You'd be like, all right.
What are you doing? Betrayal. The reveal of T'Challa's darkest secret has the Hatu Zeraze hunting him as a traitor. with orders to kill him on sight. That is nuts. This is insane. He needs to escape them to clear his name, but are his skills really on par for the challenge? Okay, we're setting it up. So I don't necessarily like the question, but it lets me know that we're probably going to see some of that power outside of the suit. So I can take that. But are his skills really up to par for the challenge? And are Wakanda's secret police the only force T'Challa has to reckon with for his lies? Okay, that's issue 6 coming up, yo.
1, this ain't his first time taking on the Ta-Nehisi. 2, I don't believe Akil could throw hands with Hunter.
No.
So
no.
3, I like T'Challa's chances of coming out on the good side of this whole thing with the Ta-Nehisi.
For sure. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Give us your thoughts on issue 5 of Black Panther. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Come back next week, or I guess next month, for another Black Panther review.